P equals 50F to the 0.2 power, where F is the SPF of a sunscreen and P is the percentage of UVB rays absorbed by the sunscreen. Find the SPF of a sunscreen that absorbs 100% of UVB rays. So essentially what we're asked to do is to replace the 100%, or sorry, replace the P with 100 in this equation, and then solve it, figure out what F is. So that's what we'll do here. We'll start off by doing 100 equals 50 F to the 0.2 power. And now our goal is to figure out what F is. So we want to get F by itself. So the first step I see that we can do that's pretty obvious is the division property of equality. We can start off by dividing both sides by 50. And that will take care of one of our problems, which is that the 50 on the right side of this equation will cancel. That'll leave us with 2 equals F to the 0.2 power. And now I feel like we're kind of stuck because every problem that we've done so far, when we're solving an equation, we're making the bases the same and setting the exponents equal, but there's no way for us to make the bases the same in this problem when one of the bases is a variable. I can't do anything with 2 that's going to make it an F. So I can't make the bases the same and then set the exponents equal to each other like we have in previous problems. What we can do, though, is the opposite. We can make the exponents equal to each other and then see if we can figure out the bases that way. Well, that seems like a tall order. How are we going to make these two things have the same exponent? Well, right now we have a decimal for our F exponent, and everything we've been doing so far has been fraction exponents. So I'm going to change that into a fraction just to give me a fresh set of eyes on this, to the 1/5 power. Now, is there a way that I could write 2 so that it is raised to the 1/5 power? How could I rewrite the number 2 so that it's raised to the 1/5 power? And the way that we can do it is kind of sneaky. It's kind of sneaky how we're going to do this. I'm going to do 2 to the 5th to the 1/5 power. Now, 2 to the 5th to the 1/5 power is still 2. If you remember our power of a power rule, it says if you have an exponent raised to an exponent, like we do here, you multiply them together. And what's 5 times 1/5? It's 1. So this is still 2 to the first power, which is just 2. But we've gotten a little sneaky here and made this have a 1/5 exponent by doing 5 and then 1/5. And so now we do have the same exponent on both sides. Both of these have an exponent of 1/5. If they have the same exponent and they're equal to each other, that means the bases must be equal as well. So 2 to the 5th must be equal to F. So 2 to the 5th equals F. You can use a calculator here if you want to, but 2 to the 5th just means 2 multiplied by itself 5 times. 2 to the 3rd is 8. So 2 to the 4th would be 16. So 2 to the 5th would be 32. So our sunscreen that blocks 100% of UVB, so 100% of UVB rays are blocked by a 32 SPF sunscreen. And so that's very similar to the exponent equations we've been solving, except instead of making the bases the same and setting the exponents equal to each other, we did the opposite. We set the exponents to be the same and then made the bases equal to each other. And that works just as well.